right, here we go. Let's do some quizzing times on Unix and Vim. Question number 1. How do you copy a file named bst_demo.cc from the /public directory into your current directory? Text me your message on Discord now. Your answer. Okay, so the answer for this is cp/public/bst.demo.cc space dot. Dot is your current directory. Next up, 2, concatenating files. So suppose you have a bunch of files in your directory, which is the scenario you had for the current homework assignment that was due today. You have a bunch of files, and you want to print them all to the screen all at the same time. That's something called concatenating. When you concatenate a file, they all get merged together and printed to the screen. So how do you concatenate all of the files with the word file somewhere in the middle of the name? Not in the middle of the screen. Somewhere in the middle of the name. You got input file 0, output file 0, input file 1, input file 2, input file 3, etc., etc. All of these files you want to print to the screen all have the word file somewhere in the middle of them. I answered this question on Discord at 11 a.m. as well as to various students that asked me how to do this because they didn't want to have to screenshot 40 files, which understandable. I wouldn't want to either. So how do you concatenate every file in the current directory that has the word file somewhere in the middle of it? Text me your answer now. So I just heard cats screaming outside my window, which is ironic because the name of the program you want here is called cat. Okay, so you're going to cat star file star. So it'll look something like, let me pull this up on the server. It'll look something like cat star file star. So the wildcard character, the asterisk character, pattern matches. It matches every file in the current directory that has the word file in the middle of it somewhere. If you did file with a star in front of it, it matches every file that ends in file. If you do file star like this, then it matches every file in the current directory that begins with file. Maybe I shouldn't have picked file as the name. But if you go into like your RPM calculator directory, you can see there's a bunch of files that all have file in the middle of it. So if we cat star file star, then it puts all of them together, okay, and prints them to the screen. All right. Yeah, you need a star both before it and after it. Okay. Next up, output redirection. So how do you redirect the output of your program to a file named out.txt? So you run your program a.out, and instead of a.out printing to the screen, which it does normally, we're going to write it to a file. This is classic Unix behavior where this is why there's so many like console-based Unix programs even today, because it's very simple to like take the output of one thing and then feed it into a file or feed it into another program and then have that thing process it and feed it into another program. So you can build these like networks of programs that do all sorts of crazy cool stuff all at once. So text me, please, how do you have the output of your file go to the output of a program go to a file named out.txt rather than to the screen? All right, so this is a really useful thing in Unix. And so if you run a program, it's printing A32 to the screen. Okay, whatever that's doing, we're going to redirect it into file.txt like that. Okay, and so, or out.txt. That's your answer. Okay, and if you want to catch both the standard output and the standard error, you do it like that. So that's just the standard out. This is standard out and standard error if you care about that. All right, very useful stuff. Like, you know, when I make my output files, I don't write my output files. I run my program with the input file and I save it to an output file. And do I do that by hand? No. I have a shell script that will take every input file that I've made and run a.out on it and save it into a file named output file with the same number as the input file. And so I just go boop, and it goes bop, 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 and it makes like 20 different output files for me. And then that gets posted into the public directory so you guys can test your own programs and see if you're going to get 100% or not. Okay. Next one up. How do you delete a file in Unix? So you've got a file named password.txt, and it's in your home directory. That's key. You might be in a different directory entirely. But over there in your home directory, you accidentally left your password in a world-readable file and you're like, oh no, I don't want that in a world readable file. I want to delete password.txt over there in my home directory. How do you do it? All right, so how do you remove a file named password.txt from your home directory? So a lot of students said rm-r, which would be really not good. rm-r is recursive delete. You don't want to do that. We're just deleting one file. We're not deleting a directory. Okay. So let's remove file.txt and remove out. Let's do this. Let's go into some other directory. And so I've created this file called out.txt that's in my home directory. My home directory is tilde. Okay. So if I want to delete something, I'm not in the current directory. A lot of you guys did /. That's deleting it from the current directory. I want to delete it from my home directory. So if I want to delete out.txt from my home directory, which I'm not in anymore, I have to go rm tilde/out.txt, and then that deletes it. Yeah. If I try doing it again, you see it doesn't exist. Boom. All right. So instead of password.txt for the answer here. Okay. Next up is number 5. How do you change permissions on a file? So if you want to share a file with somebody on the server, you can copy your file into the temporary directory. /temp is the temporary directory that anybody can read and write to. And that's useful if you're going to be sharing things with other people on the server. So if you copy your file, like your main.cc to your partner, this is how people did it before we had GitHub. You would just put it in the temp directory and make it world readable. But then, of course, anybody else on the server could be like, oh, look, there's the solution. And they copy it. And then when I run the cheat checker, it's like, look, person A and person B had the same code. How did that happen? Well, person B just copied it off of person A, from putting in the temp directory. That's why using GitHub is better than doing this. But it's still a useful thing to know. How do you make a file world readable? So inside of /temp, there's a file called main.cc. You need to set it as world readable so that anybody on the server can read it. So go ahead and message me now. Julian. Nope. 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 All right. So, nope. All right. The answer is, let's see, let's make a file up there. Touch temp main.cc. So that is that's a simple way of making an empty file. So if I want anybody to be able to read it, because right now, if I look at it, temp main.cc, you'd see that I have read and write permissions. The first 3 dashes here, well, the first one is for if it's a directory or not. These three letters here are my permissions. Do I have read access? Yes. Do I have write access? Yes. Do I have execute access? No. I can't run this. It's a text file. The next 3 are for my group. The group on this is me also, so there's kind of no point to that. But I could have like a group for like TAs and things like that, and then share it with TAs, but not share it with all of you. So I can like post homework solutions and only have the TAs have access to it, for example. And then for the last 3, that's everybody on the server. Okay. And so if you want to do this for everybody, you can say chmod everybody may read /temp/main.cc. O.r is close, but still wrong because, I don't know. I'll allow it, I guess. But A.r means everybody. Myself, my group, and just everybody on the server. Yep. So if I do that, you can see that now everybody on the server has read access. My group has read access. My students have read access. I have read access. So that's the correct answer there. A means everybody. User, group, and others. Okay. Another way you could have done it is you go like that. So user, group, and others gain read access on that file. All right. Next up is Vim. How do you search for a word in Vim? Yeah, you type something, hit return, and it's going to jump to the next instance of the word float, and it'll highlight all of the times the word float appears in the file. How do you do that in Vim? Text me now. All right. So in Vim, so if you're in Unix, the command to search for things in Unix is called grep. So grep searches through all the files in here. So if I want to grep for the word main start.cc, it's grep. I wasn't asking about grep. I was asking about search. So if I want to find the next instance of, I don't know, null pointer or something, I can front slash is the answer. Front slash null pointer. When I hit return, you can see that every instance of null pointer has been highlighted. Let's do this in Vim, where it'll be a little more noticeable. Null pointer, like that. You see how it's been highlighted here, right? So I can go n to go next, n to go next, n to go next, and it's going to cycle through all of the places in the file where the word null pointer appears. This is very useful, especially when your programs get bigger and bigger. Right now, students typically go next, 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 next. Then it takes forever. Instead, you're like, okay, well, where's my insert at? You know, so front slash insert. Okay, there's my insert function. All right, it's useful. And then if you hit N, you can see where insert is being called from, like right there. So, yeah, you can retake it up to 4 times. Sorry, every single student in the 12 o'clock class is going to take it next week also. It's good for you. It's good. It's like vitamins. Okay. All right. Next up is, even if you pass, you should probably retake it because it's good for you. All right. Delete lines in Vim. This is your second competency exam. This is your second competency exam. Yeah. Yeah, but there's a first take of the second competency exam. And then linked lists is going to be probably up tonight, the first competency exam for linked lists. How do you delete 200 lines in Vim? It should be 5 letters. And we're back after that sneeze. So if I want to delete, let me just delete 3 lines so it doesn't just wipe out the whole file. So I type D3D. You see that? 3 lines goes away, right? The else line here is left. D3D. Okay. Or I could do 3DD also, same thing. So for the answer, it's 200 DD, just erase everything, right? Or D200D. Either way, it's the exact same thing. Okay. So the answer is 200 DD or D200D. Next up is open for insert below the current line. So basically, you're in Vim, you're in command mode, but you want to open a line below the current one. This is something we do all the time. And it kind of drives me crazy when students do this. Like if they want to put a line like between these 2 lines here, they'll do this. Next, 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 next. And then they go append, return. Don't do that. One key press. Goes to the next line, opens up a line right there, puts you in insert mode. Yep. Open for insert below the front line. I do this in Vim. Text it. All right. So yeah, there are multiple key combinations, like you do Shift-A and then return, sure. Or there's different ways of doing things with 2 keystrokes. But the right answer to open a file, open a line, it opens the line below the current one. Very, very useful. It just, like, my stamina bar decreases every time I see a student doing this. I'm just like, I just like, oh, please, just hit O. Please, just hit O. Like, my sound is like, shh. I'm like, oh. Makes you better at finger reflexes. Yeah, you're building that key strength, Yeah. And if you want to open the line above, it's Shift-O. Shift-O opens the line above. So now you know. Okay. So O opens the line below, and Shift-O opens the line above. Good to know for next time. Yeah. Who knows what'll be on the next one? Who knows? Be anyone's guess. Next up is number 9. I think Olson already knows the answer to this one. How do you append at the end of the line with one keystroke? How do you... you're in command mode, and you want to go to the end of the line in insert mode. So something that looks like this. Like we're just in the middle here, and we want to jump to the end and start typing. One keystroke that will go to the end of the line and put you in insert mode for typing. Message me your answers now. This one, some of you came close to it. You said A. A is wrong. A just moves to the right. A does append. So if I'm here and I start hitting A a bunch of times, it goes there. Okay. You see it appends. Like I for insert goes in front of the E. Look, if I type I a bunch of times, it comes in front of the E. Right. If I type A, it comes append after the E. Shift A appends at the end of the line. Shift I inserts at the beginning of the line. So Shift A to there, Shift I to there. Other ways you can do it with multiple keys. $, Shift 4 takes you to the end of the line, and then you can append after that. Tilde, which is Shift 6, takes you to the beginning of the line, and you can insert there. It's multiple keystrokes, of course. Let's see. 0 takes you not only to the beginning of the line, but to the beginning of the line. I don't know. Yeah, there's probably tons of ways of doing this, but yeah, Shift A is what you're looking for to append at the end of the line. Okay. Last one. Here we go. Delete a word. How do you delete a word in Vim? Save the easiest one for last. Just delete one word. It's 2 keystrokes. Delete a word. You're at the beginning of the word. You want to delete the word. You don't like the word. It's a stupid word. You want to delete it. How do you delete a word, 2 letters in Vim? Send in your responses now. All right. So yeah, the answer is DW. So if you're at the beginning of a word, DW, bam, the word's gone. One student said CW, which is not only a television station, but it erases the word, but it leaves you in insert mode. The main benefit of using CW is that in Vim, there is a macro it's an automatic macro that will repeat the last command that you did. So let's say that you wanted to change, I don't know, you wanted to change insert from insert into, somebody give me some funny word here. Just give me something funny. Give me some meme name or something as I sip my tea. Poggers. Okay. So instead of insert, it's going to be poggers. Okay. Now, if I do it like this, DWI poggers, if I come down here and try repeating that command, it just inserts poggers because the insert poggers was the last command. The dot macro only repeats the very last command that you did. Now you could do a real macro, but nobody's got time for that. So instead, we use change word. So if I do CW poggers like this, then I can /insert, and I can hit dot. Look at that. It's poggers now. And I can hit N to go to the next word, and dot, and N, and dot, and N, and dot, and N, and dot. And everything's fine. Look, it's compiling fine. So I'm just tapping N, 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 N to go to every instance of the word insert. Now, this is a comment for insert, so I'll leave that there. And this is like some couts. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to change that to poggers. But all the function calls are now poggers. So very fast and time efficient way of changing your program using CW. DW just deletes the word. CW deletes the word and puts you into insert mode. And then if you type in a word, then all of that is just one command that you can repeat by hitting dot, 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 dot. So anywhere you go, you can just hit dot and it replaces that word with poggers. Base poggers, empty poggers, poggers equals new poggers. Else poggers points to poggers. I am not going to save this. So if you want to quit without saving, it is :Q exclamation mark. That quits without saving, so it doesn't ruin the file. Okay, so that was our little Unix and Vim quiz for today. It's our competency exam. If you got a 8 or better on it, then send me a message, and I will actually look at your responses. Everybody else, I'm just not going to grade it, and we will do this again next week. It'll be very similar to this, but slightly different. So this will give you kind of an idea for the kind of Unix skill level that I expect you guys to have at around this point in time in your computer science career. You guys are midway through your second semester, so being able to search and replace in a file and copy a file and that kind of stuff. That's all things that you should be like fairly competent at. You shouldn't need to look it up. You shouldn't need to Google something or ask Minkrel. You should just be able to copy a file. Okay. So you don't have to say if you got 2 out of 10. You just like sit on your hands and just like not say anything. It's fine. But 7 out of 10 is close. But we will repeat this competency exam next week, and we will then have 2 more takes on it after that. 5's not bad. 5's not bad. Like I said, the previous section did not cover themselves in glory either. The TA and I have been talking, and we kind of like monitor like where you guys are at and what kinds of things you should be investing your time into learning. And Unix and Vim are both just absolutely important, AAA S tier importance. Like you really need to know it, like actually, truly, physically, unless you're going to be purely living in Microsoft world with like Visual Studio. More power to you if you do. Everything I teach is in Unix, and at a lot of colleges, everything they do is in Unix. It kind of depends on the college really and which class it is, but you will save yourself so much pain and suffering. Like I had students screenshot 40 files and attach 40 files on Canvas on this homework assignment because they had to create 20 input files and 20 output files, and they screenshotted and attached each one of them. And I don't want to download 40 different files. I don't. That's a lot. So, I guess if you did that, I'll look at a couple of them, but you're going to get away with I'm not downloading 40. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. On Canvas, yeah, on Canvas. So just cat them all together, screenshot it once, put it up, done. Like that much time instead of like an hour of your life. You know what I mean? Like the input files were the hardest part of the assignment because you had to make 20 test cases. But the part where you're like attaching on Canvas, that's not supposed to be the hard part. And so like that's also something I want to mention. Like there's 6 different operations. There's plus, minus, multiply, divide, modulus, power. So that's 6 things. That's 6 test cases right there. Then you've got printing the results. You got error cases, printing the results with nothing on the stack, printing the results with 2 or more things on the stack. Division by 0, modulus by 0, power 0 to the 0th power. That's 11. And you can just start running through different edge cases. What if you finish with multiple things on the stack instead of 1? What if you try doing an operation with 0 things on the stack? What if you do a big complicated operation? You should fully test everything. It's pretty easy to come up with at least like Minkrel and I over lunch. We're just like, we just spit out like 18 different ones or 19 different ones. And then I'm like, all right, for the last one, just make one giant equation. 5 times 4 divided by 6 to the 3rd power, modulus 2 times 12, minus 3 plus 9. Like just something big that just exercises everything. And that's your 20th one. And you're done. All right. Cat them all together. Use the wildcard. Wildcard matching is really powerful. It's really important that you guys know that. Cat them all together. Screenshot. Send it up on Canvas. You're done. It's not supposed to be the hardest thing. Why does the Canvas just show me the pictures? Yeah, it does not. Like if you screenshot it, I'll see them. But some people were they SCP'd the files to themselves and then attached all 40 of the files. So I have to download each one of them. and then open them up in Vim and look at it. Be like, oh, there's the input file. Where's the matching output file? Oh, there's the matching output file. And I have 80 students. Yeah, it's 3,200 files to open. Yeah, it's much better when I can just look at all of them at once, be like, yep, that looks right. 10 out of 10. There you go. Much faster that way. Yeah, Unix, Vim, all these things are just going to make your computer science career just so much better.